Hey, what is up, you beautiful ninjas? I hope you guys are doing pretty awesome. So, if you're new to my channel, my name is Viral Jain, and I started my online entrepreneurship journey in the year 2017. And I left my 9 to 5 job, and I have never looked back. So, do me a favor, subscribe to my channel below if you want to watch more videos from me, and hit the notification bell on if you want to get notified every time I post a new video so that you can grow your knowledge and learn more. Alright, so today I'll tell you what happened. I interviewed a very successful seller. Just like you and me, he started with a couple of units and a couple of SKUs, and now has scaled to a catalog of 850 plus SKUs and has more than 40 plus employees. Now, it would be really awesome for all of us to understand how did he get started, what was his journey like, and how can we do the same. Now, he discusses a lot more than that. He discusses how did he find online selling, how did he scale to such a big catalog, what kind of tools he uses, what kind of challenges does he have, and what is the future of online selling, and how can we guys really take the opportunity of this, which is very rare and very few and only for a limited period of time. So let's get into the interview without wasting much time.
For manufacturing and distribution,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a traditional business, and we were into it since almost 25 years.
Okay.
And I also joined my family business after my graduation, but after joining I felt like there should be something innovative. Means the business is going in the same way from years and years and years. And one day I got a call from a marketplace called Traders, Tradus, Traders. So it was first of its kind and a new marketplace, and they forced me to list my product on their portal. So I uploaded 10 or 20 products on that portal, and after that, I did not got any sale from that portal, but that portal connected me to Amazon, to Flipkart, to Snapdeal. So I got calls from them, and I started the journey.
Okay, very nice. And which year did you get started with online sales?
Early of 2014.
2014. Okay. And I think in 2014, Amazon and other platforms were just getting started, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what was your response on the, items that you listed online in that early ages?
So basically, it was at that time it was a new concept for everyone in India,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the people were not aware how to buy online. Most of the people were fearing of online transaction, COD, and all these things were new to the consumer. But at that time we were getting almost 2 or 3 orders a week.
Okay.
And after that we started adding more products. We started optimizing our products, description, image, and after slow and gradually it worked out, and we started getting more and more orders.
Okay. And like when you really started, like you were getting more orders, like you thought that this is something like a sustainable business that you could do.
It around end of 2015.
Okay. After a year almost.
Yeah, after 1.5 years.
Okay. And currently, you told me that you are into the manufacture. Your traditional business was into manufacturing. Are you selling only those stuff right now, or you are doing like, a private label or generic products as well?
No, I am purely doing my private brand.
Okay.
And we are into manufacturing and distribution of our brand only.
Okay. So like, do you manufacture or you outsource that goods from, different manufacturers?
Some of products we manufacture, and most of them we outsource.
Nice. So everything is under your brand.
Yeah, because manufacturing and selling online
Mm-hmm.
and in other marketplace is two different kinds of aspects. Means if you can concentrate on manufacturing, you don't have to concentrate on marketing your product because you have a market already established for your product. But when you are only into marketing or trading, you need to explore new things, new markets to sell your product, new consumers, and that is how it works. So we are into manufacturing, but we have mainly we are outsourcing the product.
Nice. And so since you told that you were already into manufacturing and traditional business, so you had like a what do I say, a shop or something, or like a warehouse or wholesale business?
Warehouse or factory, you can say.
Okay, so is it still working along with the online, or what is
Yes,
it?
yes.
Okay.
It's working.
So you're doing offline as well as online, or you're completely online?
We were offline and online both, but we are into online. But our major share is online. Offline
Okay.
has we have we are more focusing on online than offline.
Okay. And what do you think is the difference, major difference? Like you have worked in both the fields, offline, online. Like what do you think is the most, biggest difference between online and offline?
Both of them have their pros and cons.
Hmm.
The mainly offline market is based on your based on trust with your dealer and your product. And offline market is mainly you get exposure pan India. Means
Okay.
you can sell your product to any part of India from any part of India. So there is no particular borders are there. All the total field is open for you. How much you can sell, it is up to you. If you have good product, good quality, and good pricing, then you can sell your product at very good speed and very good rate. And the major concern of online is payment.
Right.
So distributors are not getting payments for 2 months, 3 months, or even in some
Oh.
category, you can say there are 6 months is the timeline, credit line, and whereas in online you can get payment within 15 days of your selling the product. So the big difference or big part is payment part, and which impacts more to our business.
Right. Like the cash flow which you need to, keep in the business, that impacts a lot when it's in offline. Okay. And also, what do you think about the defaults? A lot of times I hear that people, you give credit to them, and kind of when it gets
Yes.
huge over a period of time, a lot of
It's
people
the part and
default.
parcel of online business.
Mhm. Offline.
That is the part and parcel of offline business. But there are some online market players too, which defaulted, like Ask Me Bazaar, and one, two more are there. Mabel Cart, Ask Me Bazaar. We were doing business with them also, but eventually they shut their operation in between, and we owe our money is stuck with them, but we can't do anything
Right.
because it's legal cases and legal procedure is more, so we have to let it go eventually.
Okay. And so right now, how many SKUs do you have? I've heard that you are having 850 plus SKUs.
Yes, we have 850 plus SKUs, and we keep on adding more and more every month.
Wow. So like, how did your catalog grew? Like, you had 20, then like what kind of speed did it grew to?
So initially we have 20 to 25 SKUs, but in 2015 I felt that more SKUs will bring more customers. The customers will have choice to the brand and to the product, and customer can choose from different kind of product. If you are selling into one category, you need to have n number of products for from that category, and if the customer is getting a different variety of products from the same brand, customer will not go to any other brand. So we started adding more and more SKUs of various sizes, various shapes into our catalog, and various colors. So eventually every year we keep adding almost 100 and 150 SKUs every year. And after adding these SKU, I saw that the sale was gradually increasing every year on year. So the product line which you have plays a most important part into your selling.
So like when you add new products, do you know, like how do you understand like which kind of product you need to add? And like, you know, because you start doing into your branding, so you need to order a certain amount of quantity, right? What if it doesn't sell?
So we study our competitors and other brands, what kind of product they are bringing in and at what price point. So we started acquiring or sourcing that kind of product or that type of product on lower pricing, and we started selling it on Amazon and Flipkart. So it is not always that what you bring in will always sell. So there are dead inventories or dead products which won't run or won't sell after some period of time. So if you want to get, you can send this product back to your manufacturer or trader from where you get the product. Or there is one more new way. Amazon has started a program called Renewed.
Okay.
So where you can sell your dead inventories or your damaged inventory.
Okay.
After refurbishing it and at lower price. So by that way you can sell your dead inventory.
Okay. And I mean, the Renewed one, isn't that only in electronics or is it across all the categories?
Oh, was for electronic, but Amazon is now adding more categories into it.
So is like you belong to? Okay. So
I belong to kitchen category. My basic means cookware. So Amazon has started 2 months back only.
Okay, nice. So all the damaged inventories or inventory which are not selling, you can use as a Renewed and sell it. Okay.
Yes.
Have you tried doing listing on the Renewed one?
Tried, but due to this lockdown, I'm not getting any orders.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we have to wait for one or two more months to see how it works.
Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. So all the products that you're doing right now, is it like you do importing as well, or you just do only domestic?
No, only domestic, only India, no import.
Nice, nice. And what kind of profit margins, like generally in your category, you deal with? Like, let's say if you have a landed cost of say 100 rupees, what kind of multiples do you sell into?
If the product is 100, costing you 100, and around 12 to 18%, between 12 to 18% should be your margin, and you can sell the product around 300 to any marketplace to get that margin.
Okay. And so like do you have a big team to run all of these operations since you have such a big inventory and everything?
Yes. The total manpower what we have is 40 plus.
Wow.
As of now.
Okay.
So all the categories are there, office staff, listing, accounting, inventory management, packaging, delivery. So we have sorted this all, and there are small teams of 4 or 5 people which look after it.
Nice. So when you say 40 plus employees, like tell me, like when did you start with like how many employees, and eventually when did it become like 40 employees or something?
So starting, we have at the starting point we already had our traditional family business. So we already had a staff of around 20-25 people. But after that, 2015 and 16 was major, you can say, turning point. And from 2016, we started employing more and more for our online business. So we got a new premises, we got a new office, all the tables and racks and all these things. So from 2016, we started focusing on e-commerce, and we started employing more and more people for the same.
Okay. And currently, like how many marketplaces approximately you sell into?
Currently, majorly you can say Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, Paytm,
Okay.
Shopclose. They are the major known market. And yes, Pepperfry. The
Okay.
six are majorly non-market for our kitchen category. And there are some more like Shop 101, Meesho, Craft Villa, LimeRoad.
Mhm.
So, but their sales is not that much, but still we are doing business with them.
Okay. As compared to Amazon and other platforms, like which channel is the most revenue bringer for you, or the sales you get from which?
For us, Amazon is the topmost marketplace.
And if you had to give a percentage, like percentage of your sales come through Amazon and other platforms, what would it be?
Almost 50%.
50% of your sales come from Amazon.
Online sales comes from Amazon, yeah.
Okay. And like, why do you think Amazon is growing at a rapid rate? Like for almost all the sellers, Amazon has like a big chunk of sales as compared to any other platform. Why do you think? What is so special about Amazon?
Amazon offers you all kinds of its services, like from managing your catalog, managing your account, uh, going for FBA, going for flex. So these kind of things or programs help seller to get exposure to the market, and the seller can focus on their business, and rest of the things, the SPN, or you can say third party can take care of it. Even has a special SPN network which enables third party to manage your account, manage your business on behalf of you on Amazon, and only for Amazon. So they had wide range of network of these third parties, and you can get it from low cost to high cost, and all things are available with Amazon.
Okay.
So they really help to improve and grow faster as compared to any other market.
So since you got started on Amazon, did you have an account manager, or were you given an account manager who helps you with everything?
Yeah. So initially there was no account manager. After 2016, we got account manager from Preon.
Okay.
So the Preon is a SPN, or you can say the sister concern of Amazon, because it is managed by Caterman Group.
Mhm.
And in 2017 end, you can say 2018 starting, we got account manager from Amazon itself.
Okay.
So since then we have account manager, and account manager helps you to boost your sales. He provides insight like which product of your is getting more sale, why it is getting more sale, why it is doing better than rest of your product, what is the missing in your catalog, what you need to add, what should be the pricing point, what should be the stock of your product in the sale event, how to expand your cluster zone.
Also have Seller Flex, right? Can you explain our audience what is Seller Flex and what kind of increments have you got, using the Seller Flex?
So you have seen that some of the products have the FBA tag, or a tag called Prime, or tag called Fulfillment by Amazon, FBA.
Mhm.
So what is FBA? FBA is that your inventory, you need to send some inventory to the Amazon's warehouse. Okay, and if you send your inventory to Amazon warehouse, Amazon will mark it as FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, and it will show to your product page that this product is fulfillment by. So the customer has a trust towards Amazon that delivery will be on time, pricing and quality will be good as compared to the other products. So once that trust has built up with the customer, so what Amazon has done, Amazon has one Flex, in which they provide the infrastructure and facility of their own warehousing into your warehouse. Means they built a small warehouse of Amazon itself into your warehouse, and you need to maintain the same. And the total inventory which is in your warehouse will become fulfillment by Amazon. So the customer will see the FBF tag on each and every product of yours, which is stored in SellerFlex. So it is nothing but FBF warehouse or Amazon warehouse into your warehouse.
And do you see a lot of increment when you converted FBA to Flex? Like when you started your Flex operation?
Yes. So basically, if we say you have 100 SKUs, you will not be able to send each and every SKU to the FBA or Amazon warehouse due to inventory issues, stock issues, money issues, whatever it may be. But when the same your warehouse is converted into Amazon's warehouse or marked as FBF, then total of your all inventory becomes FBF. So all the products of your get FBF tag, and it increases the trust of the customer. So customer will buy more FBF products than non-FBF products. So ultimately your sales is going to increase, and we saw almost 1.5x increase in our sales within 4 to 5 months of starting in Flex.
Wow, like around more 50% of the sales got increased.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good.
100%.
And do you agree that if we are doing FBA or SellerFlex as compared to EasyShip, our visibility of products are higher?
Yes, because FBF and Flex has also a prime tag to it. The prime means you can get a delivery of the product next day, where it is not possible in EasyShip.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays, customer want the product as soon as they order it.
Right.
So getting in 1 day or maximum 2 days will increase customer trust, and customer will order more of your product in future.
Mm-hmm.
So it is about the seller experience. If the seller experience is good, he is going to order more and more product of yours.
Right. And what about your advertisement? Like, do you run any of the advertisements for your products that you launch?
Yeah. So Amazon started sponsor ads around in 2016, and we are using it since then. So we got a good increase in our sales after doing it, and you can say almost 30% or 40% business of ours comes through sponsor ads on Amazon.
Okay.
So it is advertisement is also increasing important part into your online business in this increasing competition. So how customer will know that your product, you are selling this kind of product? So the ad is a tool from which you can showcase your product to the customer.
Okay, nice. So you run ads on all the products which are doing well, which are not doing well, just launched?
Right now, our strategy is 60% of the ad budget we allocate to the good sales product. I mean, the products which are doing good, we allocate 60% of our ad budget to them, and the 40% out of that 20% we allocate that we feel that this product is going to do good because it is something new product or not available in market so easily. And 20% of budget we utilize on the products which are not getting that much of sales. To improve their performance, we utilize 20% of our budget.
Okay. And since you have such a big catalog, you must be having a lot of advertisement that you run. So is there any account manager for advertisement, or who handles the advertisement part?
So we started on doing it on ourselves, but in Amazon there is a keyword structure. So we were not able to understand how to use the keywords in a proper way to generate more and more sales. So we contacted one SPN, and that SPN is doing advertisement for us since last 3 years, and we are pretty happy with him. And along with that, we have got an account manager for advertisement from Amazon also. So the SPN ourselves and that Amazon account manager, all of three are coordinating with each other and managing that.
Okay. And what kind of ACOS like are you getting? A lot of people are, they are very worried that I'm spending so much and my ACOS is really high. What is your take on that?
See, initially when you start advertising any new product or any new catalog, your ACOS is going to high because it took around 3 or 4 months to us to get ACOS of around 15%. It was initially 35 to 40% in first 3 months. After that, it got 15%, and now we are doing in between 8 to 12.
Wow, 8 to 12%, which is pretty good.
8 to 12%.
Nice. And how much are you spending like on a monthly basis on your ad spend, like total ads?
Total, we are spending approx 6% of our sales is our ad budget.
Okay, so that generally gets accomplished like 6%, or it goes beyond that generally?
No, 6% is enough.
Okay.
Initially, we were spending around 8 to 10%, but as the sale goes increasing, your expenses get reduced. So we managing within 6%.
Okay. And what about your the listing? Do you have a special team who does the entire listing for you, or how is it that?
So for Amazon, we have the special team. So one is content writing is the main part. One is photography, and the third is A+ content, or you can say EBC, enhanced brand content. So the 3 parts are there, and for each of them we have a dedicated team to look into, to study the product, how to present the customer, and what should be our main points which customer will understand after seeing only the images or going through the bullet points.
Okay. And is that your in-house team, or it's again an SPN team?
So in-house team, and photography is SPN.
So what kind of photographies do you give it to some SPN services like Online Becho, Zoom Mantra, or?
So photography plays an important role because the customer don't get a chance to feel the product by touching it. So the photography is the main thing, and one should do the photography of the original product which they are going to sell or send to the customer. So the product and the photography should always match, and there should be no change in color or in any size. So there is one third party in our area only, and he is doing a good job, and we are giving to him only.
Okay, nice. And what about the reviews? It's the most debatable topic. Like, how do you get reviews on your products? Do you do something to get the reviews, or it just comes organically?
So initially we were not much into it because we did not care how the customer are treating our product or how the customer is feeling about the product. But eventually we come to know that the rating and feedback are equally more important as your product is, because a good rating and a good feedback of the customer will definitely give you a more sale, and which is as an advantage to you ahead of your competitor. So we started mailing the customers.
Okay.
That we started automated mailing our customers that when the product is shipped, we send one mail to the customer that product is shipped, and when the product is received by the customer, we ask them for feedback on our packing and dispatch time.
Right.
And after 1 week, we send another mail. If the customer has used the product, then kindly share us the review of the product. So by doing this, we are doing it since last 1 year, and we have got a good increase in reviews and feedback of the customer.
Nice. And have you seen the sales increase when you start getting when you have 0 reviews?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So as I earlier said, the customer don't have the product to touch and feel. So how customer will come to a conclusion that this is the best product for me? So they will go through the image, description, and the ratings and reviews provided by the other customers. So if they are good and genuine, then automatically your sale will increase.
Right. And generally the industry average is the how much ever orders you do, it's like 1 or 2% of the reviews you generally get. Is that the same with your category and you?
Yes. In Amazon, we are getting around 2% or 3% of the reviews.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. And what about the inventory management? Like, do you use any inventory management tool? Like, how do you manage your inventory?
So managing inventory of this particular big catalog is very difficult job. So we use third-party service like managing inventory, managing pricing, order processing, and payment reconciliation, return reconciliation. So we use OMS Guru as of now to manage all our e-commerce operations.
Okay, like payment reconciliation, inventory management, all in one OMS Guru?
Yes.
Okay, and how long have you been using OMS Guru?
OMS Guru since the last 3 years.
And are you completely satisfied with that?
Yes, very much.
Okay. And what about your GST and filing of GST? Are you using some tool or how do you file GST?
So since 2019, we started managing we started our other branches in other parts of India, like in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, West Bengal, Haryana, and recently we started with UP and Madhya Pradesh also. So we need to manage GST for all these states. So it is very difficult to file timely all the GST of all these states. So recently we came to know that there is one tool or one service provider called Cart Manage, and since last 3 months we are using it to reconcile and file our GST. So it will take the data in Excel format and it will populate with particular state data. I mean, all the data will be get sorted with just one single click.
Yeah, even I have been using Cart to Manage. It's pretty good. Like one of the sellers in our community only has done this job of getting this software. So okay. And what kind of returns do you get as a percentage of your sales generally?
Return, including customer and courier, we get around 60 to 20% return. 16 to 20%.
Okay. And like when you get returns, do you get some stuff which is used and they have returned it, or how is it?
It is part and parcel of the game. You cannot prevent it. Yeah. So there are the customers which replace your new product with the old one. Mm-hmm. There are customers which use the product and give it back to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is completely on the mentality of the customer, and you cannot prevent it. But you can file a case or SKF claim or safety claim with the particular marketplace, and they will reimburse you, but not to the full extent. They call it fair market value. So you will not get a full price of the product, but yes, you can get a certain amount as a compensation to it.
Okay. And do you feel angry when you find somebody has used your product or replaced your product and sent you back?
Initially, in the first 3-4 years, we and our staff got frustrated. Why and how can customers do the things like this? But eventually we understand it is a part and parcel of the game. You cannot avoid it completely.
Mhm.
So you need to add it in cost. If the things are occurring often, you need to add it in cost, and that's it.
And the inventory which has come to you, which is like damaged or not very good to resell, what do you do of that goods?
So as I said earlier, either you give it back to your manufacturer if they are taking back, and if you have a good relationship with them, they might take it certain percentage of it, and if it is not returnable, then you can sell it off at a lower price to your workers, neighbors, or either you need to scrap it.
Okay. Nice. Okay. And like, what do you think is the biggest challenge right now that you're facing, as a seller, like in your day-to-day things?
So the one thing I see as a challenge is marketplace private brand. So Amazon has come with a Solimo brand.
Right.
For Flipkart, there is a Flipkart Smart Buy. So the marketplaces are coming up with their own brand and throughout all the categories. So I see it as a biggest threat or biggest challenge to compete against them. And one more thing is mappers. So
Right.
any new seller who don't have any knowledge but have same product of yours, start mapping your product and start selling it through your listing. So this is the biggest challenge to identify them and to remove them.
So has it ever been that somebody's trying to map under your listing and he took some of your sales before you were able to remove him?
Yes, and we come across many of our products sold by other sellers. So we write them mail, don't do such thing. This is our own brand. You cannot sell like this. But some of them understand. Some of them keep on selling the product. So what we do is we buy their product. And the product gets delivered to us with invoice. So we have proof that this seller is selling our brand product, and then we call them and say that we have got your product, and we have proof that you are selling our product, and it is against the law, and we can take legal action against you. So either you stop selling under our brand or be ready to face legal action.
Right. And what do you think when you... Okay, continue.
After that, they stop selling under our brand name.
Right. And I mean, you have a trademark and brand registry on Amazon as well, right?
Yes.
Does it protect you with people mapping and you removing them?
Yes. In some cases, brand infringement works on Amazon, but not for all the cases. I don't know what they have different clauses for all the sellers and all the categories. But if it is not working, then you need to contact the seller and ask them to stop this kind of thing.
Okay. And what kind of preparations do you do for Diwali? Like, I've heard a lot of home and kitchen items are, they do very, very well in terms of, Diwali and other festivals. So how do you plan up for Diwali and other things?
So as I told earlier that we have got an account manager for our accounts in the last 2 years. So before such kind of sales or big events, they provide us with the estimated inventory. What should be the estimated inventory for this particular one or half month? And we started ordering and acquiring the inventory almost 2 months before such event, and we pack them and we send them to the different clusters like to Bangalore, Haryana, and we store them before 15 days of particular event. which enables us to have a good inventory while sale event, and there are less chances that we go out of stock.
Okay. And like, what kind of growth have you got generally in the festive season? Like, let's say in Diwali, or as compared to your regular orders?
Yeah, so last year we got around 5x sale during Diwali.
Okay. And is it generally across all the categories, or people who have like big categories only they see that kind of growth?
It depend on product to product and pricing of the product. So it is almost approx 3x sale is normal during this kind of big event, but we manage it to go further 5x.
And like generally Amazon gives to big accounts, the blockbuster deals or lightning deals, they invite you. Is that the case? Like, is any of your deals running during that kind of time?
Yeah, some of our product got a deal last year, and Amazon also provide a good what you can say, the promotion for your product, good what I can say,
visibility,
good visibility, yes, to your product. And if your product is doing good, then Amazon asks us to give a better prices than our competitor. So these 3 or 4 things, and ad campaign, these 3 or 4 things plays a good role during big events.
Okay. And a lot of people say that during Diwali you get a lot of sales, but like just after some time you start getting a lot of returns back. Is that the case also?
Same case. We get around 16 to 20% RTO in usual days, but in this kind of sale we get around 25% RTO. So 25. That's the case. Yeah.
Okay.
Sale increases, RTO increases.
Okay. And like, what kind of what do I say? Like, what kind of advice would you be able to give to somebody who is thinking of getting into online business, but is very scared with terms of returns, or how do I manage a lot of GST and other things that they are not very much aware of?
So the one main thing for the new seller is patience. You need to have patience, because I have seen that many of sellers are not getting sale even after 4 months or 5 months of starting the business. The patience is the key. You need to be patient and keep adding more and more products. Okay, and check your pricing. If the pricing is good, your costing is good. Means selling on online includes more things which offline does not have, like your commission, marketplace, fixed fee, courier charge, RTO charges, and all this. So you need to compute all of them and come to a good sellable pricing, which will increase your sale eventually, slowly but yes, surely. And you need to understand the policies of each and every marketplace. Each and every marketplace has different policies for the sellers, and which are not the same. So know them and act accordingly and plan. If you are doing 100 unit of sale in 1 month, so you need to plan about 200 in next month, 300 in next 2 months, 400 in next 6 months. So you need to plan how will you reach to that, and according to you have to work out.
Nice. And what do you think is a minimum investment for somebody to get started on Amazon or Flipkart, any of these platforms?
What you need is internet connection, computer, printer, and you can just start. So that is the minimum investment of rupees 10,000, I can say, initially. and after that it depends on how you do, and you need to invest in office, you need to invest in your staff. That good staff and understanding staff will lead you to a good business.
Nice. Okay. And do you also attend new, the conferences which is, come out by Amazon?
Yes.
So you go to those conferences as well?
So your personal involvement is must, because there are new challenges, new issues which keeps on coming each and every day. So your involvement in day-to-day activity is must. And yes, when you go to such kind of events organized by a marketplace, then you need to know their future plans. What are they? How they are going to work in next year, or what they are going to bring, what program they are starting, and you get in touch with more and more online sellers, which increases your experience. And yes, the experience from their experience you can learn and earn.
Right. And what do you think is the scope of online business now going in the future? Do you think India is saturated now to come into online place, or is just starting out?
It is just a starting point. As for me, it is just a starting point, because only you can say less than 10% businesses India is doing is online. So there is immense scope in coming 3 to 4 years. You can say that almost within 3 years, Indian e-commerce market will boom up, and more and more sellers will be coming online, and the consumers buying methods will change, and more and more consumer will be buying online. So there is a good scope and hope for the online business in India.
And do you think due to coronavirus, a lot of people have started, shopping online, who must have never even bought anything from online. Now they're trying and, they're going everything online. So do you think people are forming new habits now and getting experience as to, how online selling works? Do you think this will, help in increasing the e-commerce business in India?
Surely it will increase, because the people are now fearing going out. People will not go to shop where social distancing is not maintained. So in online, if they are buying online, there is social distance is maintained, and Amazon and other marketplaces are offering zero contact delivery, that the parcel will be placed at your doorstep, and they have started only on prepaid order. So the no give and take of cash, which might increase the chances of virus spread. So and they will be coming up with the new offers to attract the new customers, which were not there. And now buying online is easiest thing I can say, and there is nothing much to do. You just need to have an account of Amazon and your credit card or e-wallet, which will and I don't think that none of these will be barrier to a new customer.
Right. And in the lockdown generally, since a lot of categories have been, only essential categories are allowed to sell. So in terms of that, you have a lot of youth staff, also a lot of inventory. So how is your thing going? Is your business impacted really hard? And what kind of plans do you have for future?
Since last 40 days, you can say, we have a zero sale, because none of our products fall into essential category. But we are hoping that once this lockdown is over, e-commerce sale will boom up and will grow eventually. So for that time, we are now managing our staff and workers by paying them salaries, and we are saying them to stay home, stay safe, and don't go anywhere. Your job is secure, and so you don't have to worry. When the lockdown is over, you can join the work again.
Yes, that's really good, because a lot of people are now scared, and a lot of sellers are trying to the employees who have been there with them for 3-4 years and really become a family, they kind of sacking them off, just because of the small turmoil. So really good to hear from you that you're kind of keeping all your team intact and just giving them reassurance that you are there for them and their job is not going anywhere. And what does your how does your employees feel about that when you give them that kind of assurance?
So they feel happy, that our sir or our employer is taking so much care of us, and in this time they stood by us. So they feel proud of us.
Okay. And is your staff from Mumbai or somebody from other states?
All are from Mumbai.
Okay. And they have been with you for more than 2-3 years, or?
Yeah, some of them are since 10 years, some of them from 5 years and 2 years.
Okay, very, very nice. Okay, Sachin, so I'm really glad that you came for this interview, and we really learned a lot about your journey and struggles and what kind of experiences you had as a seller. So I would be really glad that you could come on our show next time again after a few months. And until then, I want to wish you best of luck and may your business grow. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you, Viral, for inviting me on your show. And I think this is a good way to let the sellers know that how the big sellers or the upcoming sellers have started their journey and reached to this stage. And thank you very much for inviting me. I would love to come again on your show.
Of course. Thank you, Sachin Gala, for being on the show. Wish you all the best.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions regarding any of the subjects that we talked about, just leave a comment below. And if there is any specific question for Mr. Sachin Gala, we can talk about that in the comments below, and I will make sure that I make these questions available to Mr. Sachin Gala. Also, you can reach out to him on his Facebook profile, Mr. Sachin Gala. I'll ask his permission, if it allows, I can put up the link for his profile, and you can guys just be in touch with him. Just don't spam him or bother him much, but if there's some specific questions that you need help with, he can perfectly answer those questions. Until now, thanks for everyone and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.